Here we go.
I'll let you lead, brother.
Well, well, well. Once again, this is February 9th, 2018. We're coming at you with a second show today because we have a very special guest lined up. Rob, I got you back on the crypto show today because I got an email from a guy that I had looked into a couple of times into their company, Moria Token, and we had talked about it a couple of times, how we thought this was just a great concept. And then my buddy Kyle Forkey, you sent me an email and said, hey, let's do this. So very excited to have you on.
Awesome. Thanks. I appreciate it.
So looking at your, we went and we found your ICO here, and the world's first decentralized investment platform for precious metal extraction. And this will be happening in 15 days, 8 hours, 11 minutes, and 27 seconds. So tell us about what the heck is Moria?
So Moria, boiled down to its simplest form, is another way to invest in a mining company. So the mining company in question is called GS Mining, and they approached me about 8 months ago or so, looking to. It originally started as just they were trying to raise capital for mining operations in Colorado. The idea of doing an ICO wasn't even on their radar. Wow. And then, Ethereum started to take off. I'm a heavy Ethereum enthusiast and investor, and they knew I was involved in the space. So they're like, hey, maybe we could raise money through an ICO. And I was like, I don't know, guys. It's very strange. No one's doing anything like that. It would be considered a security because of the fact that you're investing in an actual company. And I was hesitant, but after talking to a few lawyers over the course of, maybe a month, I decided to go ahead and proceed with it. And so I've been working on that for the past, probably 6 months, 5 months, something like that at this point. And it's just an investment in an actual mining company is what it is. And token, there's no bleeding edge technology here. It is, it's an investment vehicle in its truest sense.
Wow. And so they're actually using a backed token backed by real gold. And I think what I saw was as long as the mining company is working, that's how many coins or tokens we're going to be producing?
The tokens generated are going to be based on the amount raised. I haven't decided on the exact mechanism I'm going to use yet, but the max that can be made is about 38 million tokens if we raised $30 million. So either I'm going to, let's say we raise, $15 million in this ICO. There's a few bonuses that were given out to our very earliest investors. Nothing crazy, like there's no, 50%, 100% bonuses like that, which a lot of these ICOs do. We couldn't do because, these tokens they have an actual value, and it actually costs us something to make them.
Yes.
But our earliest investors have a few bonuses. The developers themselves, including me, have some tokens baked into the contract. And so let's say we raise $15 million, so we raise $15 million, then you can expect us to generate about 18 million tokens. Just doing that off the top of my head. And it's either going to be done at the time of we push the contract. We're either going to make 18, or we're just going to take the full 38 million and burn, 20 million of them. But Either way, the amount raised is going to determine the amount of tokens that exist.
Unbelievable. And I see what kind of response have you got from people jumping in on this?
It's tough because like I said, we're a security token. We register with the SEC. And there's a lot of things we can't do that, you know, anyone else in the space, I don't want to say they can do, but they are doing anyway because they're not, you know, registering themselves the same way we are.
Okay.
So, for example, bounty programs, that's like the bread and butter of getting the word out about your ICO. It's, you know, you set aside, you know, say 5% or 10% of the tokens, and you put bounties out there, and you say, hey guys, you know, if you get 10,000 retweets or, you know, likes or whatever, and you get some community response from this, then, you know, you get, say, 1,000 tokens. And it's essentially a free way to get the word out. We can't do that, not even a little bit. Everything we've done has, you know, it's been direct marketing. I've been featured in maybe like 20 publications, you know, spanning tons of traditional venues. We did Facebook advertising, obviously that got nixed last week or so. So I mean, yeah, we've done a ton of direct marketing. It's really difficult to get the word out. But the people that do actually stop and take a look at our project, you know, there's mountains of paperwork and data we have to back what we're doing. It's not like this ethereal idea. We have an actual prospectus, an actual business plan, projections. So anyone that actually looks at it likes it, but it's hard to get people to look at it. You know?
Yeah. Got you.
Just a quick idea. How long from the time that you can conceive this until we're talking right now?
How long from the time I conceived it?
Yeah, like when this gold mine or these guys came to you and gave you this idea. How long is the process on that?
It was a learning curve, like a massive learning curve. So I was up until I'd say I started on this in earnest in July. And up until then, I was just an investor like most people. I would just, you know, buy some tokens, whatever, read a few white papers, that's it. Actually learning how to do this ICO thing from scratch was extremely difficult. I went to, you know, I went to California a few times. I met with dozens of people. I had a lot of help and advice from different individuals, and it was just a matter of finding all these different, you know, subcontractors essentially and bringing them together. You know, you have the, I'm not a technology guy. I'm a civil engineer and project manager by trade. So,
okay.
You know, I couldn't do any of this stuff myself. It did kind of go with the whole mining thing though, and that was a good angle. But, you know, we had to find the web developers. We had to find a legal team that would actually go with us down this rabbit hole of doing a securitized token. We had to find token developers that were okay generating a token that would be a security, which was enormously difficult. I went through probably 5 developers that, you know, a few weeks in were like, I don't want to get involved in this, you know. So
wow.
You've got those guys. You've got the KYC, which is, you know your customer, and that was a nightmare because our first program we used was called Yoti, and the thinking was that for security, you can't have any unaccredited U.S. investors. That's the only, or at least under the exemption we're under.
And what do you call what's qualification for an investor?
An accredited U.S. investor is someone that has at least $1 million in net worth or has made at least $200,000 a year for the past 2 years. So that eliminates almost everybody that's looking at this stuff. Yeah. Because even myself, you know, I've done really well on Ethereum, but on paper, I'm not a multimillionaire. I just have a bunch of Ethereum. So almost none of these guys that have made a ton of money in crypto can invest, at least if they're in America. And obviously the small guys can invest. So all of our earliest investors were all accredited U.S. investors. And I don't know that we've had any accredited U.S. investors come in through the ICO itself.
Wow.
I think we've had, I think there's about 3 right now that are actually accredited but haven't done anything yet. I think a lot of people are probably waiting till the final day because we don't have any kind of bonus structure, but who knows? That's up in the air. So yeah, Yodi, you know, people had to put in, they had to have passports essentially. And we figured, you know, I've never left America, so I just assumed a lot of Europeans and people in Asia had passports. I was wrong. That's not, that's not true.
They don't just hand those out at birth and just give it to everyone, huh?
Yeah, so we had to nix Yodi and, you know, scramble to put another KYC measure in place. And now all we require is foreign ID. And that's been a lot easier. We've had, you know, way more signups since we implemented that. So yeah, that was a rough opening, you know, week or two.
Okay.
But things are looking up.
And it looks like you're the men that are in charge of this, Stephen King, Cortland Brewster, Stephen Humphrey. How did you guys find these guys? Were they the ones that found you?
So, like I said, I'm a project manager, or was a project manager in Florida. So I built a lot of really high-end homes and barns for people. When I say barns, I mean like, you know, picture like a $10 million barn, not like
not an Amish barn that 4 people put up on a weekend.
Yeah, it's not one of those. This is like, you know, these have groomed quarters and kitchens and movie theaters in them.
Wow.
So one of my customers who I built maybe 3 houses for, he approached me and he was like, "Hey, I know you're into all this crypto stuff. Do you think, you know, you'd want to meet one of my friends?" That would be Franklin Levy. He's the CFO. They're lifelong friends. He's like, "You want to meet with him and talk about maybe raising money through an ICO for this mining company?" I said, "Sure." And I flew down to Colorado. I met with Steve King, Matt Collins, and Franklin Levy, and we, you know, toured the mines and the adjacent mines, the mills. You know, because even I was like, you know, a gold mine. It just sounds weird, you know, like, oh, there's a gold mine out in Colorado, and you know, I've done a ton of due diligence. We hired third-party investigators to, you know, check this stuff out. We had reports done that we financed ourselves, and you know, it all came back totally legit. So we checked it out and proceeded from there.
I found a little map here that shows the location of the Bates Hunter Mine Project in Central City, Colorado.
Yep, Central City. It was. It's an interesting place. It's like, so you go to, you know, we flew into Denver, and then you go down this, you know, it's like a 45-minute long 1-lane road out to the middle of nowhere. And then as soon as you get to Central City, it's like casinos everywhere.
What?
It's like there's this hidden like metropolis that's disconnected from everything.
Oasis.
There's yeah, when I say casinos, these are big casinos. They're, you know, probably 30 stories high, 40 stories. I mean, they're massive, and they're, yeah, and I mean, the only explanation is, you know, all the adjacent mines, because there's thousands of mines, and you know, take that, you know, loosely, because a mine can be as small as a 10 by 10 patch in someone's yard, as long as they stake their claim. I can't remember how it works, but you'll have like people actually digging in their backyards.
Oh my God!
Yeah, I know, it's very strange, but the Bates Hunter is historically I think it's the best producing mine in all of Central City. I could be wrong. I'm not the mining expert, but it was. It's got a lot of infrastructure in place.
Well, I don't
know
know
anything else around.
I think this came out in December 7th, 2017, and it says historic production 4.1 million ounces of gold. Now get this, 118 million ounces of silver.
Oh yeah, there's a few silver mines. Bates is not one of them. Well, it's not, there could be silver there, but most of the mappings show gold. And we did actually get licensed, I think, a few weeks ago for mining silver. In case we do come across any, we actually purchased the rights anyway to the clay mine, which is a few miles away. I actually went and mined some gold there myself when we visited.
Did you get a little panhandling going out there? And...
Yeah, well, we're panhandling. They give us a little hammer and a chisel, and you can go in, and the way mining works is you follow these veins, and you can just kind of chip a little gold out. It was fun, and we GS Mining has the rights to that mine as well now. So
wow,
we're already.
That's pretty fascinating. Well, to our guest, explain what is currently happening with crypto over the last few days, weeks, whatever. The stability is this something that's common that happens every year, or is this something that you think is as an investor that you're like, whoa, I didn't see this coming?
I saw it coming, but not to the extent that that it happened. I did not foresee a 75% correction in Bitcoin. It was either 70 or thereabouts. It was very good. And so I didn't see that happening, but I knew back when in December when Bitcoin was around 20 grand, or maybe it was late November. I knew it was extremely overbought, and all of that was going to flow. All that money was going to flow into alts. The interesting thing that happened though is, Bitcoin corrected from 20 grand to about 10, and all the alts were doing amazing. A lot of these alts are, scams, whatever.
Yeah.
But they were just amazing. Then for some reason, once Bitcoin broke that $10,000 barrier, everything started to tank along with it. The only thing, there was some FUD in the air about, Korea banning ICOs, and people were worried about what the SEC was going to say. The Bitcoin futures contract settling every 2 weeks. I think you had a lot of major players just start taking advantage of that and really, forcing the price down. I don't want to say it wasn't manipulation. But if they see a chance, they're going to take it. And if with all these things in the air, they just they had a perfect storm to get Bitcoin down to, 5 grand, and everyone panicked, and, what happened. I don't think, I think these markets are going to be back to new all-time highs within probably 2 months, but, people made a lot of money on this correction. I actually missed the top. I pretty much strictly trade Ethereum. I have a lot of alts, but I don't know how to play them very well.
Mm-hmm.
But with Ethereum, I know what I'm dealing with, and I missed the top of selling my Ethereum by $1.50.
Oh, that's not bad.
I know.
That's not bad.
It really upset me, but it went back down. It went back down, and I refuse to chase it down. Like I just don't do that. I'm like, okay, it's either going to fill or I'm going to wait. So I had my sell order set, and if it would have gone up another $2, it would have been filled, and I would have been happy camper. That being said, though, I definitely would not have been buying around 550 or whatever it hit. I probably would have ended up buying around like 1100 or 12. So is what it is.
Well, it looks like today everything went back to green. Ripple was one of the ones that I thought was going to just keep going, and that's where I made a couple of dollars. And it's done a 20% over the last 24 hours. Bitcoin $8,700, 6%, almost 7% over the last 24 hours, and Ethereum's 9.25% over the last 24 hours, 883 today. So, and when people are talking about the Ethereum based technology, a lot of the coins are built on this, right?
Mm-hmm. I think this could be an outdated statistic, but I think 48 of the top 100 are all built on top of Ethereum.
Wow. And do you think that's causing that pushed Ethereum to number 2?
Yes. One of the major driving factors. Ethereum is a blockchain that anyone can build anything they want on top of. You know, that's its value proposition. And you know, ETH was just kind of the front runner there. I mean, there's a few challengers. You know, Neo, Stellar, possibly Cardano in the future, but it has first mover advantage, so it's got a lot of the it's got almost all of the developer mindshare currently. Wow. So I think at the very least, I think Ethereum is going to be a contender for the #1 spot as far as market cap goes at some point this year. I don't know that's going to do it. You know, it tried last year and failed. Yeah. But I mean, unless something changes with the way Bitcoin moves forward, I think at least for a little while, Ethereum's going to be coming for that #1 spot.
All right.
At least that's my investment thesis, anyway.
Okay. Do you think that the commodity-based cryptos are possibly better investment than the the security, the utility versus security? So this is like a borderline philosophical argument in the crypto community. I happen to be, I think I'm in the minority here, but a lot of people seem to think that an entirely new economy is being created, which at this stage, with the irrationality of the markets, it kind of is. I think that crypto doesn't really create a new economy. I think it creates a new way to interact with the existing economy. So you have a lot of these insane projects that are not necessarily scams, they're just stupid. So, for example, like I saw one a few days ago, tokenizing tennis memberships. So what you're doing there is you're saying there's a flaw with the way tennis memberships currently are used, and they need to have this decentralized ledger to ensure that no centralized authority is, gaming the tennis membership. Oh, we can't have that.
Yeah. So, I might be going off on a tangent here. I forget what the original question was.
Oh, wait, just basically the difference between utility and security-based tokens, but
okay,
I'm liking where it's going anyway, so don't worry about it.
I don't think utilities are. I think if the business model itself or the product itself in some way requires a decentralized ledger that includes, think like permits, licenses, payments, deeds, things like that. If that's your utility model, I think it's probably going to be successful. Okay. If you have a business that doesn't need a ledger for any reason to be decentralized, such as a mining company, then I don't think it's going to be successful. Moria doesn't claim to be integrating its mine with the blockchain. It's it's a centralized company raising funds through ICO, which I think is an extremely valuable fundraising tool that a lot of entrepreneurs are going to be able to take advantage of in the future. And it's something I think a lot of people discount. If you have a hot dog stand and you have a really good idea for a business model on your hot dog stand, you don't need to sell decentralized hot dogs. I think you just, come forward as a security and say, hey, I'm selling a percentage of my business in the form of tokens. Do you want to invest? Maybe investors will invest, maybe they won't. But right now, the idea of being a utility is hot. I think it'll go away soon. And you're only going to have the cream of the crop remaining when the dust settles.
Well, until it does, I'm going to give Oscar Mayer a call and let them know about that whole hot dog idea.
Yeah.
So gold, the gold hit, was it $1,900 in 2011? But now where's gold sitting right now?
I do not know that off the top of my head.
I think it's around 1300.
Yeah, I was going to say 1,300.
Yeah. What's the volatility risk involved with this, and does it affect this is going to affect the price of Moria?
No, gold shouldn't gold price shouldn't affect the price of Moria. I say shouldn't. I mean, it probably will, just because of really scalpers and day traders. But the profit margin that the mining company, I should preface this with the token structure of Moria, which is that if you invest in Moria, you as an investor can reasonably expect to get 20% on your money every single year.
20%.
So it's almost like a bond.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's not like, okay, this year, GS Mining made 50 million. This year we made, 120 million, and you get, percentage based off of that. No, it's just straight up, you get 20% on your money. 20% on the ICO price. So investors coming later, it's not the same thing, but it's a straight up 20% on your money year over year, and that's it. So there's a hard quantifiable value there. And the only way gold would affect the Moria token price is if it completely crashed to GS Mining not being able to pay its bills, which would be like $300, $400, something like that.
What happens if gold shoots up to $5,000 an ounce?
Well, then GS Mining is going to be extremely profitable, but that's not reflected in the token price.
Okay.
Like I said, it's part of the trade-off is there's going to be very little volatility in this coin, but part of that trade-off is there's not you're not going to make 2,000% investing in Moria. You're just not.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if the market crashes like it did, you're not going to lose. You shouldn't lose any money at all. I would think the market would try to keep it right wherever it decides it should be.
Well, that sounds like a lot of people would have been, discussing how this is. They don't know where it's going to go. How do you see where it would go? And I think this would probably solve a lot of that problem for some of the more light-handed investors.
Oh yeah, because I think you're going to see a lot more asset-backed tokens in 2018. And are you guys familiar with Tether and all the negative air surrounding that project?
No.
So Tether is USDT.
Yes, USDT, yes.
Tether.
Yeah, so that's a lot of people are worried that they're not solvent and that they're just printing coins and saying that they're worth $1. No one knows currently whether or not that's true, but if it is true, then say the market's crashing and you fleeted your tethered pair on Bitrex or whatever. Tether crashes, you're not safe. There's no safe haven. The only safe haven is actually going to an on-ramping service like Coinbase or Gemini and actually selling your tokens.
And putting it in your cash wallet. Yeah.
If you're an investor in let's say Bitrex, you're an investor in Bitrex and you think the market's about to tank, where do you put your money? You put it in Bitcoin. Bitcoin's also, going to tank with the rest of the market. Yeah. You put it in Tether. Maybe Tether isn't solvent. I mean, you have nowhere to put it. I think asset-backed tokens like Moria are going to step in and fill the void there because
there'd be a little cushion, a safe net for the falls. Yeah,
exactly. Because Moria is not speculative. There is some speculation in the business model of GS, I guess, but you can reasonably assume you're going to get 20% on your money year over year, so you kind of know what that's worth, and it has a hard floor as well as a hard ceiling along with it. So I think asset-backed tokens like that are going to be huge for investors looking for safe havens.
Wow!
In the coming years.
Where do you think you're going to be listed, or do you know where you're going to be listed already?
For some reason, I don't know why, I'm not allowed to talk about the exchanges we're listed on.
Okay, got it.
But safe to say we will most certainly get listed on a few decentralized exchanges, since that's kind of a given. Okay. And there's a few foreign exchanges we've talked to that have expressed interest in listing us with more than enough volume to handle what I project Moria doing. I don't think Moria is ever going to be a $1 billion market cap coin. It just wouldn't make sense. So safe to say I think we will be fine in handling the liquidity for all of our investors in some pretty well-known exchanges. Just no American exchanges because they don't like securities, at least currently.
I'm really new at this. I'm very wet behind the ears when it comes to crypto and all this stuff. So I see that the ICO will end in 15 days. When would somebody like myself be able to go out and buy myself a few Moria coins?
As soon as we hit the exchange, we're going to send out, a press release and an email blast and, whatever we can to let anyone who's looked at the project in the past or engaged with in some way that, we're now listed on this exchange. So as soon as we send out that release to everyone, then those people will be able to go on that exchange and buy Moria. Is
this something that you're going to be listing on your Facebook and the Telegram and things like that?
Yeah, every medium we have available will be putting out a press release. We're also going to be, we're trying to think of ways to kind of make this fun. It's hard because it's mining, but we're going to start sending out bi-weekly newsletters showing pictures of the exploration, how it's going. We had a few guys down in the mine this weekend. They found a nice section with a ton of gold in it. We're going to start sending out pictures like that. Like, hey guys, look, we're found this enormous 10-kilogram block of gold just sitting here. And the people are like, oh, that's kind of cool.
Well, so, I would be happy with a little vial of gold if I was on your link there. That's how
I want a big boulder.
You can get a picture anywhere, man. I've seen pictures all over the internet of gold, but you send me a little vial, you got my gold.
They actually had little vials there, and we couldn't bring them on the plane because I guess
they wouldn't let you take it on the plane?
Yeah, well, because I guess once you mine gold fresh out of the mine, it's still it's got radioactive isotopes that set off their chemical thing.
Really?
Like that. Yeah. So
I've never had that much gold going through the airports and can figure that out. I'd sure like to.
Well, after it's milled and crushed and all that, it doesn't have that. But when it's fresh out of the mine, it still has a little bit. So yeah, I couldn't take it on the plane.
Amazing. Did not know that existed. So that's great. I'm really excited to jump into this whenever it comes. So you said that you're still kind of new to this too. When you first started getting into crypto, and you said, "Hey, are you married? You got a wife?"
Yeah.
Okay, and your wife said, "So, what's the difference between this and monopoly money?" And you said, "Oh, but other than the fact that you can actually hold monopoly money." What did you tell her?
She pretty much refuses to listen to me even try to explain crypto. If you asked her what it is I do, she would just say, I have no idea. I don't know. I don't care. You just do whatever you want. You're making a lot of money, so just have fun. She wants nothing to do with it. But
yeah, I'm married to the same woman. I got scolded the last time she looked at the bank statement and saw a couple $100 went out, and I got severely scolded for that because she's still not on board with the whole crypto world.
Oh man, I can
preach
some crypto pretty good at this point.
Can you? Okay, maybe you can have a talk with my wife and tell her it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. Let him play with it. Let him play with it. Wow, well, this has been a great talk, Kyle. I'm so happy that you reached back out to me because I think you definitely opened my eyes to some more interesting facts about Moria. And like I said, we've talked about Moria a couple of times on here because I came across it and I thought, hey, this is backed by gold. This seems great. Why would you not want to get into it? So. I'd love to have you back on sometime in the future once the ICO is over and we can start seeing people like myself being able to jump into this and get you a little piece of Moria, stick that away for a rainy day.
Yep, we've got some good stuff coming out on the horizon. There's some pretty surprisingly big news for Moria. I can't talk about it, but it's much more interesting than probably anyone would expect from such a small project.
Really?
So, yeah, it'll probably it'll probably get a lot more people aware of it. Unfortunately, it'll probably be after the ICO closes, but it'll still at least generate a little bit more of a community around it.
Well, if you want to break it on the metropolis number of people that we have listening to our show, feel free to come on and drop that bomb with good
for sure.
Crypto the Wonder Doggy here. She would appreciate that. Yeah. Rob, you got anything else for Mr.
Oh,
Forkey?
man. You covered it pretty much front to back there, my friend. That was, you pretty much asked everything I'd probably ask.
Well, we do have all of... Good. We have all of your links in the description below this video here. So if anybody wants to get in touch with Moria, if you've got $1 million laying around and you've been accredited,
that's right.
Get into this. I don't see any downside other than somebody.
No downside, guys.
The Hamburglar comes along and takes all the gold away. I don't think you're in trouble.
That's right. Yep. It's got a backbone.
It does.
It's got
backbone and gold. All right, Mr. Forkey, you got your information here, and we are going to be putting this out. Tell all your friends, tell all your neighbors. Come on by the Crypto the Wonder Puppy Show and like and subscribe on our Facebook, Instagram, or not Instagram. We don't have an Instagram yet, but we have Facebook.
I'm getting that.
Twitter, YouTube, and our iTunes site, which for a few days last week we were briefly in the #1 tech spot. I think today we were number 6. So we got some great listeners out there. So Kyle, nice. Wonderful to have you on.
Yeah, man.
Salt of the earth, man. You are.
Let's get an update soon.
Yes.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Yeah. If you want me to come back on, talk just general crypto stuff, I'm pretty available. So.
I would love that because we know nothing about it. To have somebody like you on would be awesome.
Oh yeah,
that's awesome.
I'm free. Just let me know when.
All right, that's great. Okay, well you've got it there, and thank you everybody for listening today. We will be back again real soon with another show. Hope you guys enjoy your weekend, and for everyone here at
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday, everyone here at the Crypto the Wonder Puppy Show. Have a wonderful day and a better tomorrow.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you, Kyle. See you later.
All right,
later.
Guys. Peace.